welcome to the Daily Record Celtic podcast. This one's brought to you live from Belgrade.
Yes.
Not in the room of doom now. This is we're in Belgrade. We've had to move inside. We're going to sit outside, but there's the police sirens every 5 minutes scooting by. And thankfully, not looking for us. I don't think. Not yet. Anyway, we arrived in here late last night, so we're just getting our bearings ahead of the game. This is obviously on Tuesday morning as we speak. A game tomorrow night. It should be a cracker in Belgrade. It's all the cliches about the atmosphere and the kind of the noise. How do you think it's going to go? How do you think?
That's the thing. I mean, this is one of the noisiest cities I've ever been to. But compared to the racket you're going to hear tomorrow night, it'll be unbelievable. I'm really looking forward to experience it. We're also going to the obviously the stadium today for the pre-match pressers with Fred Starr and Celtic, and we'll get to experience the tunnel as well.
I hope so. Yeah.
Which would be something to behold. So really looking forward to it. But I'm just delighted to be here. It's absolutely scorching as well. It's 30 degrees, so there's a wee mini heat wave at the minute. So I think it's might boil down to about 18 degrees tomorrow night by the time kickoff comes in.
I think it'll be warm. Last night, last night it was still warm last night at about midnight, so it's going to be a warm one.
So they'll be working up a sweat tomorrow night anyway. But I'm really looking forward to it. It's one of these kind of bucket list stadiums that you want to visit.
It's one of the grand old names of European football, isn't it? Red Star Belgrade.
Yeah.
So it should be a crack. Listen, we'll get into the meat and drink about the game as well. But when we look back, first of all, to the weekend, the Premier Sports Cup win at Thistle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a pretty routine victory, really. But it did throw up, I think, some question marks that we can take into this game against Red Star, because team-wise, I don't know if you want. I mean, another great display from Sebastian Tonetke. Looked the part again. Interesting, I thought. What do you make of Kelechi Iheanacho? I mean, he's a great little touch for Tonetke's goal, wasn't it? What do you make of his all-round display? And do you think he's now in the kind of position now to start against Red Star?
I'm not sure if he's in position to start. I still think he needs to build up his fitness. He's obviously not played that much football over the last 18 months. I think the last time he kicked the ball up until he joined Celtic was in May, and it was a cameo appearance for Nigeria. So he's still short of match sharpness, but that was a good kind of game to get obviously minutes under the legs at Partick Thistle. And I think he offers something different. I think his hold-up play is pretty decent. I think that's what Celtic have missed, and why the media was up front, but he was the Jekyll and Hyde at times, and that was maybe one of his weakest attributes. Was he wasn't really that good at holding up the ball. So I think he offered that. Obviously he got the assist as well, linked up well with Tonetke for his goal. So I thought it was a decent display. It's hard to kind of properly judge him, considering it was against lower league kind of opposition.
Yeah.
But in terms of his first start for Celtic, it was promising.
I think the Rodgers would be tempted to start him on Wednesday night, just purely because you might only get an hour, but if he can get a kind of foundation in the game, I think if you're talking about maybe even starting with Dyson on the bench, the game's getting stretched late on. I mean, Dyson's a good option to go off the bench in a few weary legs if it's warm. I just think he's maybe tempted to chuck him in. He's a natural centre forward. I think his link-up plays look pretty sharp. You can tell he's a bit rusty, I think, can't you? I thought the first 25 minutes on Sunday looked a bit kind of
a wee bit to get
a bit rusty.
Yeah.
But like you say, that movement, and I did link up with Tonetke a few times. Yeah. Which I thought it looks kind of promising.
It provides a kind of focal point up front, which I think Celtic have genuinely missed. So, in saying that, I do think Dyson Maida, who's talking about maybe Dyson Maida starting the bench. I think he's got to start on tomorrow night. He's
so where does he play the
middle? I think he plays through the middle, and this is one of the questions I was going to ask you, Mick. Was, do you think Yang starts on the right hand side?
Well, this is the key area of the team, isn't it? Really, now it's the area that's been left exposed by the transfer window. Aye. The kind of the infamous summer window that's caused so much kind of anger and resentment. I thought. I mean, also Yang get the nod on at Firhill.
Can we just touch upon that goal?
By the way, I genuinely confused everyone on the ground. I mean, I think he didn't. I think he thought he'd missed it because his reaction was kind of subdued. He just walked off the pitch, and nobody knew it was in the back. Everyone thought it was the inside netting. Yeah. And then it was almost like it had dawned on the ball was sitting in the back of the net. And then he kind of celebrated. And I said, "We're in the press box," and I thought it was side netting. Yeah. So I was like, "What happened there?" And then the crowd were. The way it is, the Jackie Husband stand is where the press is. It's all the Celtic fans. Nobody had a clue. There wasn't a cheering. It was the most bizarre goal I think I've ever seen. And his celebrations made it kind of slightly confusing. But apart from his goal, I didn't think he played particularly well. And Sunday, I didn't think he was great. I mean, if you, I don't know, I never got a chance to look at these heat maps you get and all that stuff. Like even like Celtic's left side would have been like scarlet, bright red, and the other side would have been still green. I mean, like would have been like maybe dot of yellow in again. These heat maps you get, it was like everything was so left centric. Because I thought Kieran Tierney played really well. He did. Maybe get to that in a minute. I thought he linked up well with Tierney, which is something I think we'll look at an eye on. That's going to be interesting. But in terms of Yang, I didn't think he was involved enough. He had a little moment here and there. I think he teed up Iheanacho for a chance at one point early on. I just think he wasn't quite involved enough. I feel for Yang because
I mean that's fine. Did his celebration? Can I tell how it was muted celebration? As you said there, can I tell how he's feeling deep inside?
Well, I think he just I thought he missed it. I genuinely think he just thought he missed it. I think he thought because I had a defender went to the side net, and I think he was confused. I don't think it was like a psychological thing. I think he was just confused because he's a kind of bright, bubbly kind of character.
Obviously, he's been messed around in the summer.
He must have about 85 appearances for Celtic now. I mean, it's a guy who's played a lot of games for Celtic, having never really looked like being a first team player at Celtic. And he's way out in the summer. And what happened this summer was just ridiculous. I mean, you couldn't sell him because he hadn't had a replacement, and that was still the case up until the last deadline day and beyond. You're like, well, we were in pre-season and said we can't really sell Yang just now because I haven't got the wingers lined up. And the same with Marco Tilio, who eventually went. But then, so they knew back in early July that this was a live one. And Rodgers is always, he speaks, you always know when a player's not quite, he's always going like he's a good, honest guy. He's a good lad. He works hard. He's a good pro. And you're like, these are not compliments that really going to work. Compare and contrast to some of the comments about Taneki. This guy looks like a Celtic winger and all that stuff. He's never said that about Yang. No harm to the lad, but he's just not quite up to the quality. I mean, if it was talking £3 million going to Birmingham, snap the hand off for £3 million. Again, it goes back to the kind of keep harping on about the botched kind of window. It was just that was madness. I mean, he should have been sold.
I mean, he's clearly not a fan's favourite. I heard
he's got a weird kind of cult following, someone, hasn't he?
I heard the groans at Rugby Park when he came off the bench for the last few minutes trying to chase a goal.
I don't like that. I don't like that very enough. But
so, I mean, the thing is, though, he does offer balance on the right-hand side. And obviously, Balakwisha has been tried and tested there. It's early days, of course. He's only played a couple of games, only started a couple of games. But I think Brendan Rodgers alluded to at his press conference the other day that it's not going to.
It doesn't sound like he's going to be playing there anytime against soon. I mean,
they're just overloaded on the left-hand side. They've not got enough on the right.
It's going to be a problem up to January till they can fix it because I mean, obviously you James Forrest in there who might get the nod. I think in this one. And listen, James Forrest is a guy you can rely on. The only thing about James Forrest, he's played a lot of games already this season. He's not really been used to playing that many games in a row. I'm talking back 3 or 4 years. So it's
you can't keep going to the bell with James Forrest.
Exactly. I mean, he also last year he got injured last year. He was out for a long spell last year through injury. Missed a big chunk of the season. You've got to use him sparingly, I think. But this is the kind of game you think maybe his experience would be useful. I think Yang's too wasteful on the ball. I mean, listen, no offence to the lad, but the game out in Almaty, it was an all-time one of the poorest displays I'd seen. I think we're trying to count up. There's obviously a lot going on, but the first 20 minutes, I don't think he managed to complete a single pass. And the pitch was bad, right? And it was a big rough kind of fullback who just kept lumps at him as well. But it was not great. I thought at that point that might be the last we kind of seen of him.
He probably assumed so as well.
Well, that's the thing. And now he's back, and he's. And listen, I don't want to sound like Brendan Rodgers. He's a good, honest lad. He works hard and all that stuff, and he's.
I think he's a valuable impact player. He can come off the bench, and I think.
So, give me an example of when he's done that. Then in 3 years, when has he come on and made an impact?
I think in a lot of the Champions League games last season, he came off the bench and it caused problems. And
mostly for yourself, I think.
No, I do. I think he's obviously he's a skillful player. I think when he comes off the bench, I think he's a lot. For some reason, he seems to be a lot more direct than he is when he starts. But he's obviously never going to be a long-term solution at the right wing. And I think if he is to play regular football between now and January, it will just be down to necessity. Really,
he's had a lot of chances. Let's be honest, he has had a lot of chances. And I say no harm to him. He doesn't hide. But does it mean he starts? I would be surprised if he started against stuff. And I think the reason why Forrest didn't start Sunday was to keep him fresh, because I think he needs him.
Yeah.
I think you're going to use James Forrest in case of emergency, break Forrest's glass.
Yeah.
It's going to get cracked open a few times this season.
Yeah.
It goes back to the weird window. I mean, they left themselves pretty short. But my shot that's a weird one, isn't it? Because,
I mean, they dragged this boy for over a year.
Aye, at least a year.
And
Yeah.
he's playing second fiddle already to Tierney, and it's because again, square pegs, round holes.
Yeah. Well, I think the thinking was that if Dyson made leaves, we thought he thought he was going to be leaving.
Yeah.
He still need 2 wingers because Jota's out probably. I think about till next season really before you see him again. So I think you needed to do those guys one of these 2. But now he's got Dyson, Reda, he's got Tierney, who's started like a house on fire, and then you get Ballishot on that side. I think Yang's actually maybe more on that side as well, to be honest with you.
That's the fact when Jota comes back.
Well, Jota,
I
think that's going to be
the end of the season, if at all. You've still got that's another player.
So you've got a lot of kind of left-sided players. Yeah. So somebody's going to have to. But most wingers can play either side. I mean, I don't know. You might see Tierney going across to that side at some point. I think he looks like a player who could play both sides. I think because he's.
It's one of those questions. I did ask him that actually. His press conference the other day, and I said, "Can you get capable of playing out right?" And he said, "Yeah, I've done it throughout my career at times, but obviously my favourite side is the left."
Yeah.
So he is capable of doing it. Whether he's as effective remains to be seen. I think Yang and Tierney actually swapped sides for a period. Party Thistle, but it was only for like 10 minutes. I
actually thought when Balt was coming on the park, I thought he looked energetic, looked kind of quite keen to make an impression. I think I've seen a spark in him as well.
Listen, there's another player that Celtic tried to throw.
He's a dud apparently. He's written off already. He's a dud. No. He's a dumpling. He's a dud. Get him out. I mean, it's like two games.
Welcome to Glasgow.
It's a tough crowd, isn't it?
Capital knee-jerk reaction. But no, I think Balakwisha is far too early to judge the lad. Obviously, he's been playing out of position, and you can only really judge him when he gets there on the games in his favoured role. So, but when that time will come, I don't know. But I suppose, like Brendan Rodgers says, he needs to have options in the left-hand side, and I think, you know, there is a contingency plan when Disney that does eventually, because they've already got sufficient players on that side. Yeah. They just need to find the players in the opposite.
So January need another. So Meda goes need another striker and a couple of right wingers. Yeah. So just the first starters. Yeah. Tell me, Tierney came in, but he's actually. I like it. We spoke to him after the game on Sunday. He seems to get it, doesn't he?
He seems as if he's just delighted to be a Celtic player.
Yeah.
I really liked the cut of him when we spoke to him the other week. I think he's just delighted to be at Celtic and get a chance to properly settle down. Obviously, I think Celtic's his 7th club of his career so far, and he's only 23. So I think he'll be looking to stay here for maybe a year or two at least, and continue progressing. And what a platform he's got! What a start he's made.
He seems to have embraced it. I mean, you talk about some players are coming in and getting a wee bit overawed by it. I mean, you mentioned Adewida. I think unfortunately, I think his transfer fee eventually weighed him down. I think. So I think he's a good big player, but a good big player to have in the background, but as well on the main man. But that ship sailed. But Tierney does seem to have taken the chance and he's grabbed it. I was talking earlier on about Kieran Tierney completing his first 90 minutes in over a year. Nearly a year and a half.
That's a big milestone.
Which is I think he's played 90 minutes in 3 years nearly. That's his first in 400 odd days, I think. So that was a big one, wasn't it?
It was a massive milestone. I think he needed that as well. A lot of people have been questioning his fitness and whether he's capable of doing it, even if he's the same player as he was when he left Celtic. But I thought again it was another decent performance as well. He's starting to build connections with Tierney on the left-hand side as well. So I was delighted for him. And the same with Kobe Donovan on the right-hand side as well. I was glad that Brendan Rodgers gave him his moment of glory in front of the fans at full time. That's two kind of homegrown academy graduates, obviously. And I think Donovan was saying he's already struck up a really close relationship with Kieran Tierney as well. So having a guy like Tierney in the squad will be invaluable as well in terms of off the pitch. But it was a massive kind of. I think that was a massive moment for Tierney getting through that 90 minutes. I'm interested to see how long he fares in Wednesday night. I'm assuming he'll probably maybe get last 60, 70 minutes, especially in that
back-to-back 90 maybe that much.
So Sirachi, you can expect to see him coming off the bench.
Is it Sirachi or is it Siraki?
Oh,
I told it was maybe Siraki.
Is it?
I don't know. Siraki.
We'll need to find out.
We need to speak to him and see what it is. I don't know.
I think it was a big step forward for Tierney. I think he needed that, and hopefully he can continue to stay injury free.
I thought it interesting. Listen, obviously now I'm I'm a beardy hipster now, talking about heat maps and all that stuff. But I mean, so tactically, I thought I wanted to see how Tierney and Tierney kind of linked up, because both of them like to hog that touchline. And I think it wasn't really working with Dyson Maynard. I don't think so. I think that, I'm not saying they were bumping into each other, but they were definitely kind of occupying similar kind of spaces, and it wasn't really that wasn't really as most productive of lines, really.
And I remember the game specifically at Tawdry, where they were literally occupying.
They were literally almost bumping into each other.
Yeah.
I thought I mean, listen, it's a very small sample. I mean, the game Thistle, but I just thought that they seemed to work really well. I mean, I think people were saying like, Kieran Tierney can't play as some ways very technical. The inverted fullback. I mean, shoot me now, right? But it definitely was missing. I mean, I noticed it again. The European games is the ones you get back to. That kind of area that Celtic couldn't get hold of that middle of the park and find angles of attack, because it wasn't really working. But I thought in Sunday that they linked up pretty well. Tierney can go inside or outside. He can do both, which means that Tierney doesn't have to he can hog it, touching at times if he wants. But I think he can play inside. I think he can. I mean, I think he's a good playmaker. He does it with Scotland. I mean, for Scotland, they played that left centre half role. It was like an attacking centre half. He did play in that channel for Scotland a lot of times. So I think he can. He's a technically good football player.
It's a specialist role, and for all Greg Taylor had his critics, he performed it domestically at least extremely well.
I think he's been missed.
Yeah, and he has. And I think that's partly the reason why Kieran Tierney fell out of the fold at Arsenal, because maybe he wasn't as good at playing inverted, which is the way Mikel Arteta initially wanted to play.
Yeah, but he's playing that's very, very top level.
I get that. So, but what I'm saying is, if you bring it back to Scottish football domestically, Kieran Tierney can play that role no ball.
Yeah.
It's just a case of whether you've got that step up in opposition in Europe if he's comfortable doing it. And that was actually again, when I spoke to Alistair Johnston, must have been last month, I asked the question about the inverted fullback, and he actually said it was a flip of the coin, because they both don't really know how want to play it.
Yeah.
So we kind of joked with that, and he basically said it's up to the managers to kind of find a way that to work it out. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he doesn't play that inverted role tomorrow. It'll be. And then obviously you'll have, as we mentioned, Kobe Donovan the other side as well. So I can't imagine he'll be playing that.
It's slightly different to taking away. So they played under Rodgers' first spell, because his first spell Tierney was played really high up the pitch, pretty much a midfield player. I mean, it was a kind of, you remember, it was like a 3-4-3.
Yeah.
He'd have like Scott Sinclair in front of him, who was coming inside and letting Tierney go beyond him. And you'd realistically shuffle across, make it a kind of back three, really. So I think it's slightly changed the kind of way they play now, with this kind of the rise of the inverted fullbacks coming slightly more inside roles. But and you see, they want Tierney to be out providing that width. But I think I thought it freed up a bit of space for Hatate in there as well. And Negan, they were kind of switching about. I thought Hatate was pretty decent on Sunday. He's been a bit hit and miss. He actually his pass for the Tierney goal. But the thing is, as usual with Hatate, he tried that about 4 or 5 times.
And didn't come up.
And didn't come up. He did that thing, he just cuts in the middle of the park, he tries to throw the ball through about 8 players to the penalty spot. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but it's like Hollywood balls all the time.
But the thing is, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because he's the one that's willing to make that risk. He's the one that's willing to try play the ball forward. And I think that's what frustrated Rodgers when he first came back to Celtic.
Oh, didn't he? It drove him crazy.
Exactly. But now I think he's get used to it, because he realises the player Hatate is. And he is always trying to be positive with it. So yeah, a couple of times didn't come off on Sunday, but yeah, that ball in the build up to Neki was a beauty.
It's a cracker. He has got it.
Highlights.
He has got it. I mean, the only thing is in Europe, I think Hatate is too lax. He's risky. He's risky in Europe. I mean,
he needs to be more disciplined, 100%.
Excuse me. I mean, turn over the ball in Europe when you're losing possession, you can get into some serious bother.
Yeah, that's the danger.
So, I mean, how do you see the midfield line up actually against Red Star? Because obviously, Negron's been the one in possession of the jersey with Hatate. The Arnie Engels thing is still getting stranger by the week. But there's a sighting of Paulo Bernardo on Sunday.
And he came off the bench first.
The lesser spotted Paulo Bernardo was back on the pitch.
Yeah.
So how do you think you approach it against Red Star? Do you think it'll be Negron and Hatate, or
I think it'll be the same midfield three lined up against Parkhead Thistle.
Think so?
I think they're still trying to build. I think Brendan Rodgers is still trying to build that kind of the connections there. Ben Negron, for me, I think he started off quite well, but I don't know, is he a bit slow on the ball?
2 assists the weekend.
2 assists, but in terms of I feel like at my European level, I think he's a bit too slow. He kind of reminds me a bit of Arnie Engels in possession. I can see him getting caught out quite a few times. I don't know. I think there's more to come from him. A lot more to come. I know his numbers will be pretty good. He scored his 3 goals he scored for Celtic as well.
Yeah, so goals and assists. I think that's why I think he will play him, because I think purely because of the problems on that right side. I think there's a real lack of creativity coming from that right flank, whereas Negan can give. He's a bit more direct. He occupies that area. He can attack the box from that kind of right side to take a ball and attack that area. I think that's why I think he's more a goal threat than Arnie Engels at the moment. I think that's why he'll get the nod. The only thing is, in Europe, especially away from home, it might be called for a bit more kind of pragmatism. I think a bit more muscle. I think Celtic are too lightweight. I still think they're too lightweight. I don't see any big bruises in there. I mean, Negan, I think, is quite slight as well. I mean, I noticed that big time against Kyriat, they were a team of monsters. I mean, like Elan farmers, and they're just the bulk. And I think Engels has got that kind of physicality. I think that might be handy, but it's physicality versus creativity, and I think you might go for the creativity. This
is the thing, and I've laboured this point for years. Celtic have really missed that kind of powerhouse in the middle of the park. And that's what you need when you come up against Europe's elite at elite level. Callum McGregor controls the games domestically. He's still
a big dirty so-and-so in the middle of the park, like animal in the middle of the park,
Victor Wanyama, just a bulldozer in the middle of the park, because you come up. I mean, when you come up against Europe's elite, the physicality as well. It sometimes looks the men against boys.
I think so. They're quite small.
Comparing. So I think Celtic have been lacking that for years, to be honest. Callum McGregor's 32, maybe. That might be a long-term thing where they might look to replace Callum McGregor with a kind of bulldozer in midfield. I'm not too sure, but that's certainly
a Scott Brown figure, really. You're talking about, isn't it? Somebody like that. I mean, I don't think it's always talking about who's going to be he's still every time he's going to be the next Scott Brown, but it's never really had the next Scott Brown. McGregor's kind of slotted in there and did really well. I think his job in that team is huge. I mean,
he's a big heart in the team. He's Brendan Rodgers described him as that coach on the pitch. So no, he's undroppable.
I don't think he's in. I mean, a lot of people are kind of critical of him. I think of late. Again, it's a tough audience sometimes. I mean,
the amount of goals he scored last season as well.
Yeah, the great season last season.
People are still criticising him last season.
It is like an unsung kind of role, isn't it? Really, the kind of. I think there has been a kind of tendency to be too safe this season, but I don't know if that's because him not quite trusting the guys in front of him. I mean, a lot of times, especially in Europe, early on the games, the guys who were playing wide are losing the ball. Let's say the Yang thing in Yamate, getting the ball out wide and losing it puts you under pressure. You're on the back foot. You need to sort that mess out. So people are going, oh, he's been playing too safe. That's because he hasn't built a trust yet in the guys in front of him. That'll come.
I think it's with Callum McGregor. He thinks one step ahead as well.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's like, well, the last time I passed to this guy, he lost it. And I ended up having to chase this big bruiser back 40 yards. So that's the reason why he's been playing safe. I mean, I noticed at Ibrox he was a wee bit safe at Ibrox, but again, because he was what?
He's getting man up as well.
I mean, in that match, it was Bartlett Wisher got caught in possession a few times and they turned over. He's the one with the mop. He's the one guarding that back four.
Like you say, he's not there by coincidence.
No, so if he's taking a safe pass, it's because he's not quite got the trust in the guy in front of him yet. I think it might come now. We've seen Tierney, and you can also now knock the ball up to Iheanacho. I think he'll hold it in better than. 100%. It's another thing because you knock the ball into the feet of the meter. Half the time the big fella was bouncing off him. He's come back 40 yards to try and win it. The second time round, he loses it there. All of a sudden, Callum McGregor's got an onslaught in front of him. So I think there's reasons why Callum McGregor has been taking a safe pass. And I know it drives people nuts, and the folk getting frustrated with it. Because I think it's because he trust issues. But I think you might see that changing. I think with Tierney coming in and the actual, I think they look more reliable giving the ball to them, because you're not going to have to deal with the fallout coming back if it doesn't work out.
That's fine. I mean, you're looking at a prospect of an entirely new front line.
Aye.
January anyway. So yeah, I think it's just building connections.
In terms of Red Star, I mean, what do we expect for the Red Star Belgrade? I mean, looking at the results, they had a 5-1 and a 7-1 against teams that I would not even try and pronounce right. I don't know if I heard of them. Countdown conundrums. But then they beat Partizan in the Eternal Derby, they call it, which I'd love to come early for that one. Wish your evil overlords had sent us out a couple of days early for that one. unfortunately, it wasn't to be.
Well, I mean, they're top of the Superliga. They've won 7 games out of 7. I think they've scored 30, only conceded 5. So, rough, that's a brilliant start to the season. So they're scoring for fun. So, obviously, they're not the European giants they once were. But
no,
I mean, that home stadium, that home crowd will be something else. I know Celtic Park's famous for its atmosphere, but I think this will be.
I think it will be, but then listen, you look at the result. I mean, I think they've had a few good results in recent years.
I mean, they beat Liverpool.
But then you look back in the last 15, 20 years, I don't think it's been quite as the kind of scary place. It's one of these teams that you see, they used to be good and they pop up with some horrendous results. Some Irish team beating them or something like that. But then again, that's a problem with teams think when they see Celtic's name popping up.
That's it,
If you're from Europe and you say, "Oh, that's Celtic getting beat by some team from Kazakhstan," it used to be good, didn't it? So it's probably a bit like something like that. It's Celtic now start old money. Well, they not face each other about 19.
Yes.
There's Lisbon Lions team, wasn't it? Was it year after? 68, I think it was. Celtic put them out. The European Cup in 68. I think they thumped Red Star 5-1 at home. Then they managed to get a draw out here. But that's when Celtic were champions of Europe. Kings of Europe, and kind of the year after that, maybe 68, 69. But
I think they've had 3 games in Serbia, and they've yet to win. So there's an opportunity to make history tomorrow as well. So it's a grim Celtic, a grim European away record. I think if they manage to leave that stadium tomorrow night with a draw, that's what
I was going to say. Do you think a draw is a good result on the road to coming here?
Definitely, 100%. I think a point's a good. It's probably one of the toughest venues you could have possibly, or toughest starts you could have possibly asked for. Probably coming here.
I also think Celtic are not. I still think they're a little bit vulnerable shape. And we're talking about it. I mean, I think the issues on the right side of the park. If teams can work out how to stop the left, Celtic have got problems. I think. I mean, you mentioned Kobe Donovan right back, young lad. I think he's looked pretty good. Mm-hmm. It's a big environment to ask to go and perform in here. Tony Ralston, I think, trained yesterday. Potentially, would you put him back in? I mean, I think if Tony Ralston's fit, I think they had experience. I think he'd go back in. That's no disrespect. I think Kobe Donovan looks a player.
Yep.
I think he's a good prospect. He's got the height and all that stuff. And he's good in the ball.
As Brendan Rodgers says, he's got the personality to be a Celtic.
Well, he's not just a good honest lad. He's not just a good honest lad. That's a good sign from him. I mean, he's a bit of a player. A good honest lad. I just think Tony Ralston would be the one to come back in.
Tony Ralston's never let Celtic down, has he?
No.
But yeah, for me, I don't know. I think it's a welcome candidate, I suppose. I remember Kieran Tierney when he first broke into the team. I think his first start was against Fenerbahce in the Europa League. Right. And he came through that with flying colours, and that was the making of him. So I don't know. It could be an opportunity for Kobe Donovan again. He played obviously at his part at Karate Mate. He came off the bench. He was unlucky not to get.
He was decent. He was decent when he came off the bench. So they were pushing. Eventually got a few chances.
But interesting. I think if Ralston's fit and he comes back in, that kind of shows you he isn't the pecking order. You might not see Donovan again for a while. But for me personally, I would probably start Donovan. I don't think he's done anything wrong, and I think he's getting better and better as each game comes. And this will be the ultimate test for him, and this could be the making of him a Celtic player. I think that's what the whole point of the youth academy is.
Yeah, well, it's long overdue because it's going to halt in recent years.
100%.
I'll throw a curveball at you. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see Sadaci, Marcelo playing right back.
Again, I just think that just creates that imbalance again when you've got the Balikwisha conundrum.
He has played there.
I know, but he's an actual left-sided player. And is it necessary if you've got Ralston maybe?
It's a guy who's played, experienced, international, played in Europe with Leipzig and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just that imbalance in the team. Nah.
The only thing is, I think you need him to cover for Tierney at some point.
That was what I was going to say. So Tierney's not going to last the full 19. He's going to have to.
So he may have to come on and fill that. Well, then does he then play? I don't think he's ready to play 90 either. I don't think Saraki's quite up to speed. I mean, I thought it was quite funny at the game at Ibrox. I think after about 40 minutes, he looked absolutely burst. He made one kind of. In fact, see when the game at Rugby Park, see the goal. That's when I say he was looked absolutely busted. That was the last kick of the ball, and it was like his final kind of liners in the tank getting expunged. It was like the final throw the dice from because he looked absolutely exhausted. I don't think he played since February, March. So
he bombed out completely.
So again, I think I'm only throwing it out there, but I think he will be the guy to come off the bench when Tierney has to kind of get through. I think you get through an hour and maybe come on. Then again, you could put Scales there and it's a bit more defensive. So there is options there.
We did ask Scales about playing left back on Friday, didn't we?
It's funny.
It's fair to say he's not a fan of it.
He tried his best, didn't he? So it's a bit harder work. He said, especially after playing 70 minutes at centre half, then you go and play like attacking left back. He says, I'm not used to that kind of running. So I think he was feeling the pace as well. But I think Celtic need to be careful. I think this is a tough one. I think it's a tough game. Celtic have still got these same kind of gaps and concerns that have been there for a while. So they've got a wee bit more cutting edge. I think the pace of Tierney could be good on the counter. I think Celtic need to box cover. I think they need to be smart and way to play it.
The key thing for me, like we kind of touched upon, is they need to be disciplined as well, especially in the middle of the park. The tactic kind of giving away sloppy balls. I get that he's trying to move the team forward and be positive and try and create chances, but they definitely need to be tight in there. I think defensively for Celtic this season, they've done well.
They've been decent. They've been decent.
They've been one goal all season.
Two Falkirk and then Kilmarnock.
Sorry, So there's two. They've only conceded twice, and I think Liam Scales, for always, he's become a bit of a whipping boy with the Celtic support, and his distribution isn't great at times. But defensively, he's always there. He's put his body in the line. I think he's done okay defensively this season. It's just his distribution.
No, I think it's nothing wrong. I think Liam Scales is a good operator for Celtic.
Definitely,
I don't think
I think every team has a scapegoat, and Liam Scales at the minute finds himself there.
He's not particularly sexy. Excuse me, Tom was no sexy. Sneeze away here.
No, I think he's been solid, and I think he's
no offence to Big Liam. Sure, the Mrs. Scales would correct me for that one. But you know what I mean? Because it's like same. It's the same. People are quite tough on kind of like Scottish lads and the Irish lads and all that stuff. It's like, if you got a fancy name, sometimes you're viewed as a superstar. No, I think he's fine. I think I've been good defensively. They'll need to be, I think, as well. I said this team are scoring goals. I think they need box cover. I think Atalanta away performance was completely un-Celtic performance last year in the Champions League. I'm not saying it takes some of that again, being that defensive. But that was because that was after the Dortmund game. And it was like, and that time Atalanta were scudding teams all over the place.
Europa League winners as well at that time.
Yeah, so at that time, so had to go there and be ultra defensive. I don't think they need to be that defensive, but I think they need to be cute because it's a difficult game. And if they can get a point, I think it's a bonus.
I think that's a great start to the campaign.
Yeah,
I think you'll be looking at what's the points tally you'll be looking at to qualify under the 12.
Honestly, this competition is mind-boggling sometimes. I think if they get 11, 12, 13 points, they should be in the mix, shouldn't they?
That ballpark, then you're flying.
So they need to win 3 out of the 4 home games, I think, and then pick up a couple of points here and there. I think 12 points would maybe get them into some sort of knockout stage, maybe. So a point would be big. Because I think. What do you make of the draw? I think it looks quite sticky, quite stinky. I don't think it's an easy. I know people go, that's quite bland. I think people go, it's a bit kind of meh. But I think it's a tricky one.
The final as well. That's the headline, isn't it? Roma obviously at home as well. There's tricky games. Champions League kind of teams are coming up against them. I think it could have been kinder to Celtic, but I still expect them to get through to the knockouts. If not, then there's something seriously going wrong there.
Well, I don't think it's guaranteed. Genuinely, I don't think it's guaranteed.
I think it's anything to fear in the Europa League, to be honest with you. Some of the teams, there's no proper recognised global
just get back to the career Amati.
I know, but I think there's an opportunity for Celtic to progress now. They've got the new signings in. They start building momentum, start getting around a game, start building connections. I think there's an opportunity for Celtic to progress. And obviously Brendan Rodgers is hell-bent on obviously making Celtic competitive again in Europe.
So this is the thing. I think Celtic's summer of woe failed them to prepare for the Champions League, but I also think it's left them ill prepared for the Europa League. Like the Europa League without a recognised, probably proper first choice right winger.
There's gaping holes, of course, but I do think they've got enough in the squad to get through. Like they had enough in the squad to get past Carrier Almaty. Didn't happen. I think that obviously that was so early on in the season. There was a lot going on. The noise, obviously, off the field with the protests will probably rumble on for weeks to come. But in terms of Brendan Rodgers, he made it clear what his focus now is just on getting results and starting to get a bit of momentum and hopefully, Celtic can start off well tomorrow.
I think they need to try and get a place in these knockout stages, and then get to January, and then tool up, Because I think Celtic fans should demand some sort of European run at some point. Because it's just not happening.
I mean, it's crazy to say.
This knockout record is abysmal.
But it's crazy to say. Celtic fans have been spoiled with the Champions League football for the last 3 seasons, and there was actually some punters last season that said, "Oh, I wouldn't actually mind a crack at Europa League."
Well, this is my point. As I was saying about not preparing it properly for the Europa League. A lot of fans would probably thought, "Well, it's not the worst fallback really, because they make a chance of a wee run and seeing some knockout ties, because that's something that's been really lacking." Celtic's knockout record has been so bad for years.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some decent European run. I mean, the one in Rome and all that stuff. I'm talking the Europa League group was one, but it's been pretty ordinary at best for years. So that I just don't know if this year is going to be the year. Genuinely, I think it's an awkward group. They need to be in the mix in January and then tool up in January to have a shot at it. That's when we should. That's when it's going to see the ambition. Think if they're in a good shape, 10 points on the board by January, you think they get a couple of good signings and then they can go and see how far they can go in the competition.
Yeah.
Because I think punters are desperate for it. Desperate for a quarter final or something like that. Nobody's expecting Celtic to go and win the things. I mean, but a couple of ties, a couple of knockout ties, and a decent enough run.
It's long overdue.
I mean, if teams like Bodo Glimt can get to the semi-finals of the Europa League last year, I mean, I know that's I hate that they bring up they can do it with the Bodo Glimt.
I know, but it's a valid point though.
Of course it is. I mean,
Rangers
got to a final in the Europa League 10 years after being the 4th division. Yeah. I mean, so that's incredible. So Celtic fans are right to think, you know what, going to give us a wee run this thing. We're going to be in this competition and give us a run. But so what Celtic try and do it. It's it starts here. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go and see what they've all got to say for themselves. That's our next task. We're going to go and see the Red Star guys, and then Celtic are arriving later on. So we'll go and see what's happening. But listen, thanks for sticking with us right to the end if you've managed to hang on for 30 odd minutes. No doubt it'll be a bumper week. You can check it all out on the record platforms and print and online, and we'll keep you posted all week. But we'll catch you again in the podcast sometime soon.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks for watching. See you later on.